I need somebody to tell me they're lying. I need somebody to tell me they're lying right now.
I just got out the welfare office. I don't want to work. I just like to stay home all freaking day, living off the government. The government has to support me.
I mean, I'm sure a lot of people watching this video right now would also love to stay home all day, but obviously nothing would ever get done and nobody would have any money if nobody worked. Anyway guys, I'm back and today I have some of the craziest welfare videos online recently, and you will definitely not want to miss the insane last couple.
Alright guys, today we're looking at a story that's already sparking strong reactions. The video opens with shocking claims about preferring government assistance over work before introducing new SNAP rules requiring certain recipients to seek employment. As different viewpoints begin to emerge, the discussion quickly shifts into a larger debate about responsibility, financial hardship, and whether public assistance should come with stricter expectations. It's an opening designed to grab attention from the very first minute.
Difficult to find a job recently with the market and the economic conditions, but I mean, if you're physically capable of working and you're sitting around all day at home and not even applying to jobs, then yeah, you probably should not be receiving food stamps.
So with this, if you are an able-bodied person, you have to go get a job. If you want food stamps, you have to go get a job. So I either have to go get a job or I lose my food stamps. But if I go get a job and start making money, then my disability, it gets canceled. So how does that work? Because I was on food stamps, I was on cash assistance, and I was on disability. Me and my kids. What I make should not matter for my kids' disability. Am I right or am I wrong about that? And my TikTok income is not considered a real job. I have to go get a real job if I want to keep my food stamp. But then I will lose disability if I get that job. Help me out, state of Michigan.
I'm not completely sure on the circumstances, but it is unfortunate that, you know, her kids have a disability, but it sounds like at this point she just has to choose one and stick with it. And it's unfortunate for her that she has to go ahead and get a job, but that TikTok money that she's getting probably is not too much.
You can sit up and say that a woman on welfare shouldn't keep having kids because she's on welfare, but yet you're not on welfare and you keep having kids, but yet the daycare is raising your kids. You're not even raising your kids, but you use the excuse that you have to go to work. You just don't want to take care of your kids. Tell the truth. That's what it is. You don't like being around your own kids. So you keep on having them, probably for your husband or whatever your reason for keep having them kids. You keep on having them kids, but you ain't raising them kids. Somebody else raising them. And then you say, oh, I have to go to work to take care of my kids. You're not taking care of them. Somebody else taking care of them. You're financially supporting them. That's it. You're a financial provider. That's all you are. You're not a mother. So stop trying to make other women feel bad for their choice. At least they taking care of their kids, whether they on the government assistance or not. They raising their kids. Their kids gonna be okay. Yours, on the other hand, all you gonna ever say is you gave them some money, and they're gonna still resent you.
Yo, are we all living the same life as far as like on this earth, in this environment in the United States of America? I don't know where we are. I am so confused on everything that is being communicated right now. People have literally lost their mind. And you know, the worst part about it is these are the people that are actually having the children, right? These are the people that are adults that we say have matured, that they have achieved a full brain development past the age of 24, 25, 26 years old, and they're opening up their legs to men with no protection, letting them skeet in them. And then often at times they have multiple children with multiple baby daddies, let's just be clear. And they are going out here and they having a whole bunch of children, and then they putting them into the system that we would consider less than ideal for them if they don't have two-parent households. And then next thing you know, they're going to grow up and be punching women in the streets of Chicago. This woman just said, she compared a person that is responsibly going out and carrying a job in which they put their children in daycare temporarily while they go out and they're not dependent on government assistance.
I really don't get where the woman was trying to go with her video because, you know, if you drop your kid off at a daycare while you're working, obviously you are being a responsible adult generating an income and temporarily leaving your kids in a safe space until you can pick them up, because at the end of the day, you do have to make money to pay bills and survive.
I just got out the welfare office. Like, I don't want to work. I hate to work. They know that already, so why y'all bothering me about this back to work program? I don't like to work. I just like to stay home all freaking day, sucking my thumb and living off the government. I love it that y'all taxpayers maintain me and my 8 kids. Listen, my kids are so special to me, my 8 kids. I got, 8 different baby daddy that don't do shit for me. I didn't even get lucky with one of them. But yeah, like, y'all not about to tell me to go to work. Okay, give me my $2,000 in food stamps, my $500 in cash. Y'all about to pay this rent in full. Yeah, the government has to support me.
Man, I mean, I'm sorry to say it, but at this point, if you have 8 different baby daddies and all of them aren't paying anything for their children and not supporting them, it might just be a you problem and you might just be selecting the worst quality people to have children with.
I don't think it's fair that he do that, but...
And you were saying you think it's going to hurt a lot of people?
Oh, yeah, definitely. If you don't give it to them, it's going to be really hard.
It's very sudden, and it will affect...
That is literally less than 4 hours of work per day. The average American works 8 hours per day and reaches 80 hours per month in the second week of that month. So if she doesn't think that's fair, you know what I don't think is fair? Me working 160 hours per month, yet my taxpayer money goes to funding these people's lifestyles. It's not that hard. It's not that hard to work 40 hours per week. And they're not even required to do that. They're required to work 20 hours per week to get these food stamps and these SNAP benefits. And the whole reason President Trump is implementing this is because many people were taking advantage of this system. I mean, how many people don't work, yet they get more money for groceries every month than a person that works 40 hours per week? That is not fair. Okay, so stop complaining, get up off your ass, get a job, and start making money to provide for yourself and your family. It really is that simple. You just have to show that you're actually trying to contribute to our society and to yourself and to your family.
Buckle up, guys, because this section turns the controversy up another level. The creator reacts to several viral opinions surrounding welfare dependency, work requirements, and taxpayer responsibility, creating a fast-paced exchange of opposing perspectives. With emotional reactions, bold arguments, and strong personal opinions colliding, this part keeps the momentum high while encouraging viewers to question where the balance should exist between government support and personal accountability.
Because as soon as we start empathizing with these people and feeling sad for them, we get taken advantage of. And that is unfair.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure most people watching this video either are working or have worked a full-time job in the past, right? And 20 hours a week is not a full-time job that's considered part-time. And if you can't even work that in order to get food stamps and benefits, then you are clearly just leeching off of the government. And what happens when the government has no money left to give to you?
Listen to this lady.
In that new bill, they changed the SNAP benefit requirements. And this, I'm not going to say shit, but what is in there. And I'm going to leave you to analyze the implications. Children, parents of children ages 7 to 17 must work 80 hours a month in order to qualify for SNAP. But in households where there are 2 parents who are married, only one of them has to work.
She is upset, and a whole lot of other people is upset with because they changing the way they doing the SNAP. Listen, they making people, if your kids is 7 to 17, you must work 80 hours a month. Do the math. This is a part-time job after we got over for 40, 50 years where we were supposed to been got our shit together. And we didn't. We just took everything as a handout for 40, 50 years. Now they saying you got to get your ass up and put in at least half, like, you know what I mean, part-time to get this snaps, right? and they complaining.
To be honest, it's kind of wild that, you know, these requirements didn't exist before, because 20 hours really should be the bare minimum. And I mean, if we're being honest here, kids aged 7 to 17, most of them can stay home by themselves and support themselves, you know, at home. Granted that you provide them food, they can stay home by themselves while you go and work 20 hours a week.
Y'all want to know why I can't work? I can't work because I have kids. Not that I don't want to work. I want to work. I want a job. I want a routine. But I have kids and no support system. I moved to a completely new state away from all of my family so that I can be in a better situation. And these are the steps and processes that I have to go through. So with that being said, applying for jobs is not easy. I have this big of an availability, and a lot of jobs don't like that. So when I'm going through the hiring process and we're going through availability and all of these things, and when my window is only 3 or maybe 4 hours where I can work, or initially I couldn't establish secure childcare. Yeah, I had a voucher, but I had a newborn infant, breastfed infant at that, where it's not easy to just leave my baby with anybody just so that I can meet all of y'all's standards and expectations. No, I'm gonna continue to do what's best for me and my children and make sure they're good. If you don't like it, it's fine. God is on my side. And that's all that matters. So now when things change, when I can find secure childcare that I trust, and my child and me are ready for her to go to daycare, then hey, when my kids, when I can get my kids in the after school YMCA program to open that availability, then hey. But until then, being a mother just doesn't allow me to work right now, and I'm doing what's best for me and mine. So if you don't like it, that's fine. But just remember, we could all be in my shoes.
So honestly, I do understand where this woman is coming from, and I'm pretty sure most parents would be, you know, a little bit cautious on leaving their kids with a stranger. At a certain point, you do kind of have to put some trust into them. And if you want to work in society and make money and, you know, be able to pay bills and the such, you will have to trust some people. But guys, you will not want to miss this insane last clip.
8 days. 8 days, y'all, and I'm tired, honey. I'm tired. I was gonna get on here and just go on a rant, but I was just like, you know what, I'm not even gonna say anything. Now they attacking the food stamps, the government assistance, and all that good stuff. We on day 8, y'all. We on day 8. What's next? It seems like every time I literally roll over, I don't even get the crust out of my eyes yet. I barely be awake, honey, and I literally tapped the first app. It might be IG, it might be over here. And the first thing I see is something else about what Trump is fucking up. Something else he changing, something else he pausing, something else he doing away with. And you know what I don't see? What I barely see these days? His supporters rallying and windmilling in the comments. Where y'all at? I ain't heard a peep from you. Hello? So now y'all see it's affecting y'all. Y'all on mute. It's crickets. It's Nathan. And I find it mighty funny.
So at a certain point, after America has had welfare for 20, 30, 40 years, and tons of people, you know, just living off of welfare, eventually the government just cannot support a lot of people anymore, and they only can give this money to the people who really, really need it. But guys, I hope you enjoyed.
Alright, guys, we're now entering the final stretch where the debate becomes even more layered. New SNAP policy changes are explained alongside emotional responses from parents struggling with childcare and limited work opportunities, showing that every situation isn't the same. The creator closes by reflecting on the long-term sustainability of welfare programs and the responsibilities tied to public assistance, leaving viewers with plenty to think about. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, subscribe to the channel, and share your opinion in the comments. Thanks for watching, and we'll see